Oh, here she comes. Great. Then I'll be back to congratulate more really smart people. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Maria Bell. Thank you for the introduction. I'm here this evening to tell you a bit about my husband, Ryan, and I's son, William, who's 20 months old. I'd like to first thank the AASLD and the foundation for extending to me this invitation, giving me an opportunity to share William's story with all of you. My husband and I consider this room to be full of some of the finest medical professionals in the world, and I count it an honor to be standing here and telling you our story tonight. So William was born last year, early in 2021, and he's the reason our family now knows a little bit about hepatology and liver transplant. He's the reason we know about portal hypertension and hepatic osteodystrophy, PICC lines, and most recently cholangitis. A few weeks ago, in fact, when William was admitted for recurring cholangitis, his team was in the room one morning for rounds. We were discussing his ongoing antibiotic therapy. And at one point, my husband interjected and said, we understand clearly that William just needs a new liver at this point. With his very bright brown eyes, William began clapping with great enthusiasm. Everyone had a hearty laugh, of course, because how could a 1-year-old understand what his dad had just said? But maybe he did. Maybe he does know that his body is sick and that he needs help. So I just want to take a few minutes to share briefly with you the story of how it came to be that William needs a new liver. As all of you know, this is not an easy road to walk for anyone, especially for parents of a baby. But I'm here in the throes of it, as William is listed with a PELD of 35, because my husband and I want to share with you how his team has made this journey a bit less arduous. We believe his life would be very different if not for doctors and surgeons, scientists, and incredibly caring nurses who are always seeking to learn better. Soon after William was born, I found myself sitting in a clinic holding him for an ultrasound, watching as the radiologist searched for his gallbladder, but already disease had left its mark and reduced it to scar tissue. The light seemed dimmer in our world in the days that followed as testing and labs began narrowing in on what would soon be a confirmed diagnosis of biliary atresia. The days and months that followed, were often very tired ones for our whole family. There was a lot of monitoring, of course, all the pharmacy orders, midnight runs to the emergency room, hospitalizations, and the looming uncertainty for his future. But our perspective shifted one day in clinic not long ago as we sat with Dr. Frank DePaula, William's hepatologist and the medical director of pediatric liver transplantation at the University of Virginia. He was giving us a sort of post-transplant pharmaceutical orientation and talking about all of the therapy William would need after transplant. Of course, he mentioned tacrolimus, and I interjected and said, "Oh, this is the medicine William will be on for the rest of his life. Is that correct?" And without hesitation, Dr. DePaula looked me in the eye and said, "Or until we learn better." And that idea, really this practice of learning better, was light shining in our darker days. And we realized in that moment that that approach had actually been the mainspring of William's care from the very start. You see, from birth, William's presentation of biliary atresia was rather unusual. In fact, one of the doctors on his team likes to tease that he forgot to read the textbook when he was born. So this made his diagnosis a bit challenging. But from the day of our arrival at UVA, his team spent an intense week not only repeating labs and imaging, but they consulted with colleagues and mentors at other institutions. And in so doing, they were learning better. They specifically ordered the MMP7 test from Cincinnati Children's that most or maybe all of you know has promising predictability for diagnosing biliary atresia and allowing for well-timed surgical intervention. It's a groundbreaking test, and it's the result of research from those who have a mindset to always learn better. The team devoted time that week to literature review, and in that process, they discovered 2 documented rare cases like William's. And in consulting that data, again, they were seeking to learn better in order to provide life-saving care for our son. Even now, as William is battling recurrent cholangitis and the infection is breaking through one antibiotic after another, His team is still seeking to learn better and understand better therapy for him as we wait for a call for transplant. Because of this research and this mindset, William did receive his Kasai procedure by day of life 60, which was crucial. Because of that approach to learn better, he's had more than a year to grow strong, giving him a better chance at a positive post-transplant outcome. And because of men and women working selflessly, strategically, and collaboratively, both in the clinic at UVA and across institutions beyond, William is getting his second chance at life. One of my favorite English poets once wrote that God moves in a mysterious way, his wonders to perform. As my husband and I and our 3 other children wait for the wonder, the medical miracle transplant for William, I just want to thank you tonight and congratulate all of the awardees and all of the distinguished persons here for the work that you've done and the work that you'll go on to do. We'd like to thank the AASLD and the Foundation for your ongoing support of the pursuits in hepatology that are represented here tonight and beyond. It's my hope that in hearing William's case tonight, it might encourage you to continue applying for grants, to keep thinking more broadly and deeply about liver disease, to keep collaborating, and to keep growing in knowledge. Because when you learn better, people and children like our son William live better. Thank you.